Hi everyone, this is Marcy with Creators Call. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Today we're going to do a little more playing around with blank envelopes. Now I don't know if you guys remember in an earlier video where I made these and I turned envelopes into something that looks like a postcard. And I decorated both sides, you know, with the idea in mind that you might glue this down to a page in your journal. Well, then I had another idea that piggybacks off of this, and part of what inspired it was the thought, what if you don't have postal stamps? What if you don't have actual stamps? Now, there are a few ways around this. You know, I used a lot of postal images and things that said mail, but what if you don't have those things? How can we recreate this and do something equally as pretty? So I'm going to show you today what I came up with, and what I came up with was this. So here they are side by side. And I think both are equally as lovely. So that's what we're going to make today, and I'll show you how I did it. Or if you've already got it figured out, turn the video off. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, I thought I would provide today some alternatives on how you could make a similar looking item if you don't have all the postal stuff, okay? Because some of us are just starting out. It's taken me a long time. I've been stamping since like 1994 or something, and scrapbooking since 1996. So I've had a while to collect some things and really hang on to my favorites. So that's what we're going to work on today. So if you want to gather your supplies or just sit and craft and listen along, either one is great. And let's get started. So what I want to do is kind of go over the differences. So on this one, you'll see I used a postcard stamp. I had some other ones with a different postcard stamp that has the line down the middle and says postcard up here. Those are cool. But on this version, I am going to use a border stamp. So just a pretty one that came, you know, that I happen to have. It's part of another set. Something like this would work as well. See, that would look really pretty along the top, and maybe we'll use one of those today. Another thing you could use is this one. Now this is an old one that came out of the Michaels cheap stamps bin when they were doing that a few years ago, and I'm really glad I got it. It's kind of a nice all-purpose one, but something like that would indicate handwriting, okay? So that's the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna change where it says postcard. We're just gonna use a pretty border stamp along the top. The other thing we're gonna use on these, I had done a strip of music or book page, and then I had just glued on a focal point. But when I was looking for these flower images, I ran across these little gizmos that I have cut off of botanical book pages. I had used the rest of the page on another project, but these little pieces were left over, and I just love how they're just tiny, you know, just they're kind of a complete image in and of themselves, even though they were part of a larger page originally. So that's what I used here, and that's what we're going to use today. And then the last thing I'm using to simulate a postage stamp, I have these pretty little postage stamp shaped cutouts. These are from Celeste at Woodland Inspired, and they're called postage stamps from napkins. She has several sets. So just go to her shop, and I'll have it linked below, and look for postage stamps. Now, alternatives to that, another thing I love to do is just take pretty stamps off of letters I've received. And look at this one, didn't even really get canceled. Isn't that weird? But I just cut it off. And then I just go around it with my postage stamp scissors. I'm trying to cut so the little pieces don't land on my project. Anyway, so I go around it with that. If you don't have postage stamp scissors, because again, you might not, those are hard to find. So just go ahead and use like a deckled edge. I keep turning these upside down because that's how you have to hold them, but use one with a decal edge or a little tiny pinking shears. You know, there's some that have the teeny tiny little zigzag, or just go with the torn edge. All of those look really good, and once you have inked them up, they just look fantastic, and they will look good on an envelope. So those are some options. And then other things, I have this little tin here of things that are postage stamp like. So some are stickers, some are Tim Holtz tiny ephemera stuff, some are ones I made long ago. Look at that, isn't that pretty? So I have a video that shows how I made these, so you can go out there and check it out. I'll have it linked up above in the cards, and if your device doesn't do the cards, I'll have it linked down below, and also I'll put it in the end screens, as well as the video that shows you where I made these, or how I made these, okay? So I'll have all of those things up above in the cards if your device displays that, down below in the description box, and at the end of the video in the end screens. That way you are covered. Okay, so let's get to making. You kind of know what I'm gonna do now. Let's do it. All right, let's get some blank envelopes out. I've got a couple in each size here. There we go. Now, one other thing I did was I gave this, let me bring this back for a second. I gave this some ink, and I didn't use my inker and go across it like this. No, I did something completely different. And what I did was I have this old stamp pad. When I was getting back into rubber stamping and things after I left the workforce, I wasn't still in touch with what the current products and techniques and things were. And so I watched a lot of stamping and mini album videos and things like that. So one of the ladies I watched used these Hero Arts shadow inks, and I don't even think these are available anymore. So I had this one in soft sand, and unfortunately when I went through earlier in the summer testing out my old stamp pads, this one was not looking so good, but it's been sitting upside down now over off on my side desk over there for the last few months, probably 4 or maybe even 5, just giving this ink a chance to settle to the top. And so happily it did. And so that's what I used to add the color on here. So let's do that really fast. And I just did it by pressing down on the stamp pad. It's got kind of a textured look to the stamp pad, and so when you stamp it, you get a little bit of that design, that detail in the ink. It looks really cool. And so I think this is a great way to just use up this old stamp pad, and when it dies, we can kiss it goodbye and say you've lived a good and useful life and move on and try something else. But it was a really fun way to just kind of get some texture on there. And I'm doing the inside and the outside of this flap because these, I'm thinking I may not glue to a page. I might actually take these and just tuck them into a pocket or something as a piece of ephemera. So I'm going to go ahead and do this really quick. There we go. Okay, I got all of those done. I accidentally pressed a little hard there for just a second, and it brought the color through, which actually is fine because I was trying to look altered. Then I tried to get that effect on this envelope. It didn't get quite the same, but I think that would be fine. It all works. I'm going to set that off to the side and keep it upside down for as long as it shall live. The next step then is to do some inking. I've got several kinds of stamp pads out here. I also have these VersaFines, which we'll use in a minute. But I'm just going to ink around the edges really quick now. Just because I think it makes it look a little more finished. So we'll finish doing that and we will come back in a moment. All right, almost done inking all of these around the edge. Get the crease in there, get the crease out here. You can also, where it's a little bit maybe still white, and if you want to fill that in, just, you know, rub your inker over and just take off a little bit more of the white. The combination of the browns looks pretty cool. And then I'm gonna stick this in there to get that edge. So now they are all inked up. Get everywhere? Yep, I did. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right, set that aside. All right, next thing, let's just lay these guys out so I can work in an assembly line situation. So the next thing I'm going to add is my border stamp. So as you see, these are very old VersaFine pads. They have a new updated look. So if you just look for VersaFine, if you're wanting one. The beautiful thing about these is that they catch all of the detail. They're very good at stamping detail, and so that's why I have selected these two. Although you could use the archival ink. I have one on my desk. You could use the Ranger Archival and it would work equally as well, probably. Oops, that's not quite centered, is it? That's what I get for keeping the flap up. Oh well. Oh well. And I'm gonna stamp one with that alternative. Actually, I want this. On the smaller ones, I think they center better. And then I'm going to use this one just to give you an idea of how else it could look. Look at that pretty. I could even do the other side if I really want, which I think I do. I do want. Cool. And then I'm going to scoot that out of the way. And then this one. Now the beauty of this stamp is it can go either way. Look at that. Either way looks great. So I do love it. I think on that one I'm just going to go across the top because it's a little bit smaller. Okay, so the next thing I did was I just tore some book page. I selected my book page. You can also use music, so we'll do some of both. And then we'll lay down our images and we'll figure out what we want to use for a postage stamp image. Okay, so book page. Got some Romeo and Juliet. You can use Bible page. You can use anything really, Reader's Digest, any kind of book, I think would look fine. And what I did before I glued everything down, I just kind of laid it out so I could get the placement. So I wanted one in this blue, I wanted a pink, I wanted this pretty poppy, because who knows, actually I'm going to move pink over there. I just did a yellow one, so, oops, these are upside down. Oh, this was a yellow poppy. The Welsh poppy. Hey, Laura, you guys have your own poppies. Awesome. Way to go, Wales. Okay, so there's that. And then as far as options for the postage stamp, I have a couple of other ideas. So there's this one. It has the pretty American farmhouse, which I don't really think should go with a Welsh poppy. So I'm not going to use that, but that is something you could use. I have these stamped pieces. Am I in frame? I am not in frame. I am videoing standing up today, and it is so cool because it's just nice to stand up sometimes. And honestly, I think I can see into the camera a little bit better. Now this one, these are all the same, right? Yeah, it's all the same butterfly. So I just stamped these on plain scraps. I don't think it really matters which one I put where. I shouldn't overthink this. Let's use one that I stamped and turned into a postage stamp. Oh, that looked nice up there with that green. So I'm going to take one of those off because I want to use a sticker. Well, that's very blue. I don't want... No. Okay, I got a bunch of these. What was this in? Was this... It was in something. I don't know. Something I demoed a while back. Let's see if we have one. This one actually would also look good with that. Maybe we'll move him to the California poppy. Oh, actually, this would look really pretty with the pink because I'm not sure I'm going to find a pink one. So that's a good choice because it brings out the green. And then my last one, I'm going to use another of Celeste's. Okay, so we have 4 choices. We have the pretty napkin postage stamps that Celeste makes. We have some that I have stamped. This is a Tim Holtz set. I can't remember which one right now. And this is a sticker. So we have all those kinds of options, and any of them will work for you. I'm just giving you guys options today. It's kind of fun. Okay, so there's Romeo and Juliet. Let's see. This one's kind of got a weird shape to it, but it's kind of cool at the same time. I could put that there. So just play around with them, guys. Have fun. I mean, the whole purpose is to use up supplies that you have to, you know, if we're into junk journaling, we've got all kinds of junk, that's for sure. That part right there where it says scene 1 is not going to show, but on the off chance that I move it around at the last minute, I'm going to keep it for now. Actually, I should, there we go. I'm going to layer it so that it's a little bit above this image that I stamped, or I could just put it over here. That might be what I do. I'll put that there, and then I'll pick a different one for here and maybe have it go this way. So let's do music. Okay, because I am a musical human being, I always like to keep the treble and bass clefs. It's a weirdness I have. It's just how I roll, so please go with it. I think that might look, it's too jaggedy on that edge. Too jagged, not jaggedy. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I think I'd rather have a vertical presentation on that one instead of a horizontal. And last but not least, this guy. So let's take another strip of music. Now, I'm not being very fussy today. I'm just quickly inking, quickly ripping, quickly everythinging. Just not in the mood to fuss around, I guess. I have a lot of, I'm trying to film a couple of videos ahead as well as do my regular filming, so look at that. That looks really pretty. Look at all the different elements together. Okay, so now we're gonna ink really quick and glue them down. And I'm trying to remember what I inked in last time. I think I inked in Vintage Photo. Now, as you know, sometimes I ink and sometimes I don't, but I think on this project, just to make everything stand out, I think you should consider inking. But if that's really not your thing, don't worry about it. It'll still look good. The main thing that I always tend to go for is contrast, a little bit of visual contrast between the color of the paper, the background piece of paper, those kinds of things. So if you're not into inking, just keep contrast in mind so that your different elements stand out in some way. Now I'm looking at this. This has a glossy finish, so when I go to stamp over it, it might not let me. Now some other options to this as well. Celeste has these in her shop too, and these were, she's got all kinds of stamped images, so I am going to make some more and put one of these on. I just was really wanting all of these different colors today. And I also have these pretty little, just like washi sticker pieces that came, I think these came from Grabby. And, you know, they look like stationery pieces. They could have come from one of my earlier boxes from your creative studio. I don't remember, but I think, you know, any one of those, like look at that. If it wasn't for the fact that I really want these California poppies, I really want these. I would trade them out, but I really want them. Oh gosh, sorry. I'm trying to show you options, but then I'm being stingy with my options because I want what I want. All right, so we have this. Let's get to inking really fast. Because inking all these pieces does take a minute while we're inking. What you guys got going on today? What are you guys working on? I'm not sure when this will air, so I have no idea what's going on in my life at the moment. I will point out that these nice little pieces that Celeste has, she does something to stiffen them up. I don't know what she does. You can tell us your secrets, Celeste, in the comments down below. But it makes them really easy to ink around the edges, which is cool. So I think she ironed them onto something, but I don't know what. I am going to go around this with my postage stamp scissors. Trying to cut off to the side so the little bits don't fall in the middle of my project here. This is fun. This is just such a nice little low-key project, and you know, just make pretty things. You don't have to think about it too much. Just put it all together and while you're doing something else, you know, watching TV or even chatting with a friend. The other day I was talking to my daughter on FaceTime, and so I just sat and made some stuff while I was talking to her, and that was nice. If I don't have to think too hard, I can do it, but very often I think too hard, so. I think I am still out of frame. There we go. I'll scoot that up just a skosh. It's easier than moving all the pieces. Is this the last one? This is the last one. So, but if you're not crafting today, do you have other plans? What do you got going on? Is everybody healthy? Is everybody happy? Is everybody, I don't know. I don't know what else you might be doing. What's your weather like where you are? There we go. I think I got them all situated. Okay, so now we're gonna glue. And I find it easiest to use the art glitter glue, but you can use a glue stick if you'd like. Well, obviously, just glue. I don't need to tell you what kind of glue to use. Just use your glue. Use whatever you've got. I don't need to micromanage your crafting, do I? Okay. I mean, there's a point where you're helpful and then a point where you're micromanaging, and I very often cross that point. There we go. And then that's a sticker, so that's easy. I do like that shade of blue though. It's kind of a blue-gray. Okay, this little part, there we go. Yeah, I think these might have come in a Your Creative Studio box as well. I don't remember. Oh, that's pretty. Now look at me changing up. Thing is you can't really tell what's back there, so we'll stick with the way we had it. This is a page from Romeo and Juliet. Trying to remember the other day when Shakespeare lived, because I don't remember exactly. Was it the 1500s or the 1600s? I should know, but I don't remember. And what was that period called? Like Baroque, or I don't remember. You know, it wasn't the Renaissance. It was well after that, but I don't remember what it was called. There we go. So if you know, please refresh my memory because I don't remember. These are the random thoughts that I have as I go through my day. Oops, I forgot to glue that guy down. Okay, get you in a sec. So just what I love about these were just a singular element on a page. And by cutting them out, they are now a standalone feature. So, you know, as you're going through your books and stuff to cut up and turn into journals, pages, and ephemera, just keep that in mind. Like, how can I rethink this? Oh. Well, that would get covered up anyway. Sorry, goodbye to the base and treble clefs. Do you guys have any questions about what's happening here or any comments? Do you have anything you need to use up that you could use on these? That'd be kind of cool. Tell us what you guys are, what you would put on yours so that we can get some more ideas. Oh, I keep forgetting to glue down the stamp images. Why? What's wrong with me? You know, depending on what you put here, you can have a variety of looks. Well, really, what you put here or here. I did have some other ones I grabbed out to kind of show you. Now, these are from more modern flower arranging and gardening books, but home decor books. But here's some other examples of the kinds of things you could put there. You know, here's that cute little girl. She came out of a 1960s magazine. This is, I think this came, yeah, it came off of a greeting card. But that would be cool. Recycle your greeting cards, guys. We talk about that all the time here. This one is an old poem cut out of something. So you could do that instead, and maybe instead of putting book page back there, put a strip of scrapbook paper. Like that. See how that just changed that up? Pretty cool, huh? And here's another piece cut off of a greeting card. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, that is really pretty. And then another one from a book. Floral arranging. Martha Stewart. If you find Martha Stewart books, she has some of the most gorgeous photography and images in her books. You can always, there's always a winner when you pick a Martha Stewart. Oh, it looks like I didn't quite get that. Okay, moving right along. Don't want to run out of time. I got, my youngest is sick today, so she stayed home from work. My children, she's got a tummy bug, and when they get their tummy bugs, they become violently ill for a short, intense period of time, and then they're fine. So I was like, but I'm trying to dedicate a couple days a week solely to videoing and editing so that I can make sure that this is, you know, that I'm doing it and that I'm devoting time to it and I give you guys my full attention and I'm not all distracted. So of course today's my video and editing day, and I was like thinking, well, I'm gonna have to run over there and bring her soup, bring her Gatorade, but you know what? I don't have to. She has a husband and he works from home. I was like, oh, slow down, Mom. You don't need to take over where you're not needed. But I do feel bad for her. I really do. That is no fun. You know, she's having that first year teachers syndrome where you get sick from everything all the time. You build up your immune system for sure. Okay, I'm taking out a couple of these cute little textured stamps. Very old Stampin' Up! Stamps. But boy, I'm so happy I found these. Because can I be honest, when I was only stamping cards and stuff, I wouldn't have known how to use these. But now that I do junk journaling and see so many different styles, I know exactly what to do with these. So that's cool. Okay, so I'm going to stamp texture and speckles in the background. Probably should have done this step last, but I'm doing it now. So there. That's cute. Anyway, so poor girl, she's going to have a nice healthy immune system though when she starts her counseling career. That's the one thing. When I was working in a school, I thought, man, that school counselor is locked in a tiny room with a lot of children who like to cough on you, sneeze on you, and other things. I thought, ugh, how does that work? How are you doing? She's probably not going to go into school counseling. That's just not where her interests lie, but I always thought about that with our counselors when I was working. I'm just going to add a touch of gray because sometimes that just makes everything look better. And because I love these stamps. There we go. I didn't do that on the prototype. Okay, that looks cool. There we go. And then let's go put these away. And then now what do we have left to do? Okay, so now we want to cancel our postage, cancel the stamps. I'm not in frame, hold on. There we go. So now we want to cancel them. And I'm sure you're saying, okay, but what if I don't have the fancy pants postal marks? Well, I would say don't worry about this or find something similar. Like I have a set that are passport stamps that have a similar look, and that's actually what I used. I'll show you again on this one. That's actually what I used here. This was a ticket stamp, and that was a, it looks like a passport stamp. And then I wrote the postage amount. This was also just, you know, some printed stuff. So, I mean, I did a variety of things. But to get the cancellation lines, which I ordered these off eBay, I have, for instance, look through your stash. I have this set that's bugs. And look, these are supposed to be the squiggle lines for like an insect, but they also work as postal cancellation lines. And that's what I used on all of these that I hand stamped. Didn't use it on that one though. Anyway, so you know, you have a variety. Here's another example. Oops, it's upside down. So I stamped with a regular stamp on pattern paper, used those squiggle lines, the passport stamps. The other thing I did was I drew around the edges, and I used different decorative edges. I keep showing them to you upside down. So this one was a scallop. This one was the postage stamp edge. Let's see. I know I did the decal edge stamp, and I know, or decal edge scissors around the edge, and I know I did the pinking shears as well. Oops, he fell out. Escapee. Okay, so here we are. So let's get to canceling, and I think I want to do these in black. Just because I really like how it's looking with a mix of black and brown. And this VersaFine should hopefully be okay on that slick spot. And I am using doubles of these. So I have the bigger one and I have the little one, and I'm liking how that looks today. You don't have to, or you can double stamp like that. Like so. And then let's put our cancellation lines down, which I want a piece under here because I like to run them off the page. So see, cool. Let's see, that one's faded. So let's do this one that's more fresh looking. And then that one will be a little more washed out because it's my second stamp. Here we go with that. And then if they're still looking a little plain, like I see some bald spots here, that is where on this one I came back and just did a little bit more. Oh, the other thing I didn't add yet was my label. So let's do that, and then we'll see if we need to, what we need to fill in. And then I also, on the back, did I stamp anything? No, I didn't, but you could. I did on the original ones, I stamped, and I added some more postage. I think it looks cool. Okay, so let's figure out labels, and I know we don't need blue. Well, I guess I could use a blue right here, but not too blue. A not too blue label. We'll see, we're gonna end up covering up that thing anyway. Where it said scene 1. Actually, this one is a little bit lighter. Now I'm going for the itty bitty labels, so you guys do what you like. I like this one a lot. This one's cute. Now this one has a little bit of red right there, so maybe that would be a better choice. But I also like, that one just stands out more. So I could put that one there, and then I thought a green one might be nice. If it's big enough. It's got too wide of a border there, which bothers me. Yes, it does. Shouldn't, but it does. Picky, picky. It doesn't really stand out, but that does. So they're not very big. I mean, you could use a bigger label for sure. See, it just, if it's straight, it changes the look. Okay, so there's those. And so I will very quickly add some ink around the edges of those, just because, again, it helps them stand out from the background, and especially this one, because otherwise it would just blend into the back with the pale color there. But because all of the other elements are inked, I just think it adds some uniformity that you might otherwise not have. Aren't these pretty? I just love them. Love them, love them. Okay, so let's glue these down really fast. And I like it when all the elements are touching a little bit. As I've watched and learned from other people, that just seems like a good way to go. Now here's another place, if you didn't use a postage stamp up there, you could use a postage stamp right here, and that also changes the look, and then use something else up here, another sticker or something. And then also you know, something like this instead of a label. Maybe not on that one, that doesn't look so great, but you know, just use what you have in your stash that kind of gives you the look that you want. Just options, so many options. Okay, that one's actually glued. This one's a sticker. So definitely you don't have to use exactly what I have. Now, if you're new and starting out, I would say do invest in some postal images of some sort, postal kind of stamps, because I just think they're so useful in so many ways. And the other thing I would invest in is a script stamp, something with writing on it, which is what I used on these right here. So definitely, if you're trying to collect, and go to eBay, don't buy all this stuff new if you don't want. I mean, if you do, you want to, but there are lots of ways right at the moment to find crafting supplies real cheap. After COVID, or during COVID, everybody cleaned out their craft supplies and that kind of thing. So what I do want to do, because I do think there is some blankness, actually this one looks pretty good, so I'm not going to worry about that one. I think it looks pretty filled in everywhere, although I might add just in the brown. Where'd the brown go? Another tiny one like that. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to set that one aside. And then on these three, where they are clearly have extra room, and it looked good to add postal marks here, but I'm not sure that that's really what I want on these three, so I will add some script, and we'll do it in black because I think that'll show up better. That's always the danger, isn't it? Dropping the ink pad on your project instead of on the stamp you want. Okay, so for this, I'm just gonna, especially because this is a nice big stamp, it's so much easier, just gonna touch and add it to just a couple of spots, like so. So there's a little bit there, a little bit there, and that's what it needed, I think. Although I still think that one could use another little, there we go. Blink, we did it. There's that one. Okay, let's do that. That looks nice. And maybe just a little bit right along here. Nice. And this one, it's not getting the corner, is it? And a little bit up in here, I think would be fine. I don't mind that it's going up onto the flap. I think that's cute. Nice. Okay, let's bring them back and examine our work. I'm gonna fold the flaps down. Now I kind of wish I had script on there. Okay, I'll do it right here. Oh, it went across. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, like you were just writing a quick note. Oh, I like that. In fact, I'm done. I don't want to add any more. Okay, here's the two bigger ones. This is what we've got. These are so pretty. I love this. I'm really glad I had this idea. I don't know if someone else had, had the same idea. Hey, look at those envelopes. You can turn them into postcards. But it just occurred to me one day, and now the second version of it has also occurred to me, and it's just another way to make them look equally as pretty, but you don't have to have all of the postcard stuff. Okay. The other thing I wanted to do was on the backs. Where's my black? I just wanted to add a brief, let's say, a note. It doesn't have to look perfect. Not at all. That's the beauty of junk journaling. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's why we do it. There we go. So now we have a little something on the back. I think that looks cool. Okay, so that is a wrap. Here's what we've got, and this is how they turned out. You guys, these just look so cool. I can't get over it. I love it. Do you guys ever do that? Like when you're all done, you just sit and admire your handiwork for a minute? Sometimes you just gotta. I'm gonna add a little more speckle right there. It's not showing up. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Please tell me in the comments below. Remember to leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't, I'm sorry. Tell me how I could have improved, but please be nice about it. And obviously, you guys are all going to take an idea and have your own take on it, which is exactly what is supposed to happen. You know, we just draw inspiration from each other. So let me know how yours turn out, okay? Until next time, be inspired, do something creative today, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye now.